short trip to the other side of town, where the sea meets the lagoon. For the theme tonight of Science and Nature matches the unique beauty of our own Torrey Pines State Reserve. Our speaker tonight wants us to imagine arriving at the reserve and going on an interpretive walk where we are going to have our horizons expanded in both time and knowledge. He is speaking from the basic manual to put it all together for 5 to 7 minutes. He will be working on action words, organization, vocal variety, gestures, and some inspiration, the basic building blocks of all good speaking. Let's all relax and enjoy a rare spot in our own backyard, where science meets nature, Torrey Pines. Please welcome Advanced Toastmaster Jim Bedinger.
Well, welcome campers. Glad to see you all made it up the hill here to Torrey Pines. Today, we're going to talk about how science comes together and meets nature right here at Torrey Pines. We're going to go on a little walk to the Guy Fleming Trail. We're going to take the North Fork, and we're going to look out to the north. We're going to see our California coastline. Then we're going to walk along the Guy Fleming Trail, looking down on the ocean, and end up at the South Overlook and see La Jolla. And when we get there, you will see something uniform about our coastline. Because here in California, our topography, our geology, has been shaped for millions of years. And the same process that occurred 125 million years ago is ongoing today. And we're going to get a look back, not just 100 years, not 1,000 years, but 125 million years to see how we get to enjoy our beautiful California seascape. Come on with me. Now, as we start down the trail, I want you to really see something and concentrate on this, because we're looking out to the lagoon over here, and we have lagoons all the way up the coast. Have you noticed going up to LA that it's up the hill and down the hill, up the hill, down the hill, and you keep coming to these lagoons, and sometimes they don't smell so good? That's because the entrance has gotten kind of blocked up, and there's not enough salt water getting into them, because they depend on a healthy flushing of soft water, fresh salt water. Look down there and see that beautiful lagoon. Okay, I know you guys can't imagine. So, here we are up in Torrey Pines, and this is the lagoon you're looking down at. And that's the lagoon you're looking down at. And that's the lagoon you're looking down at. And it's the Penasquitos Lagoon. Now, that lagoon didn't just get there. That lagoon has been formed by hundreds of millions of years of the rise and fall of the earth. And it is a classic example of a river sedimentary lagoon. And let me explain the science behind the sedentary terracing and lagoons. Wherever a river or runoff from an arroyo in Southern California forms inland and starts down, nature is based on science. The river doesn't just go in a straight line like this. If this is up in the lagunas, it starts pretty steeply, and then it starts this asymptotic curve, a mathematical thing from solid geometry and plane geometry. And that curve, and when it gets close to where the river's mouth meets the ocean, see the little blue area here? That's where the river really comes in. And it's very, very gentle at the last 4 or 5 miles. Very low gradient. Why is that? Homeostasis equilibrium, scientific principle. That's a fancy word for nature doesn't like sudden waterfalls at the end of the river going into the ocean. And so what happens when the ocean rises and falls? Oh, you mean the ocean is just rising now and it's never risen and fallen before? Nonsense. Let's go back 500 million years. We have not 1, not 2, but over 13 high peaks. We're in the 13th high peak, and what I think is important is when you see, going back 125 years 125,000 years ago, we were actually 20 feet higher in ocean level than we are today. So the ocean actually, and the warming trend 125 years ago was hotter. And we know from geological flora and fauna that we find in fossils, right here in Torrey Pines, that we had a very subtropical climate. Lush ferns, lots of things growing green, and lots of animals that ate all this vegetation. But the most important thing I can say about our terracing and the way our lagoons think is when the river is high, the mountain stream obviously can't go down and go uphill. And so what happens is it fills in. It fills in with sedimentary material, sand, rock, pulverized silt, and that fills up. This is what the red area is here. And that red area is truly 125,000 years old. That's the last warming period. And that's the high terrace. And you can see that high terrace today in the lagoon. And you can see one terrace just to the side of the parking lot. As you look across the road, there's a high little plateau, and that's a sedimentary terrace that was formed at the same time the ocean reached its last high level. And that's where sedimentary material deposited. Now let's keep moving on, because we got some more things to see. As we get to the south end, we don't see the lagoon anymore. What we see is La Jolla. And when we look down in La Jolla, what do we see? We see a series of ridge lines that literally move up from La Jolla up the mountain to Mount Royal. Soledad. And if we look where the ocean's coming in, we can see a large plain being carved by the ocean surf. And it's carving away that part. That's today's marine terrace. 125,000 years ago, when we talked about that high point, that formed what is called Nestor Terrace. And if you go from Girard Avenue to Prospect to Wall Street in La Jolla, you're on the same level. And that's the most newest terrace. As you go up the hill, each one gets older. So when you come to Torrey Pines, you're not just looking at a pine tree that goes back 35,000 years to the last ice age and before. It's truly a relic of the last ice age, 18,000 years ago. But you're looking at time immemorial from the Earth first started forming. And when you look out on our coastline and lagoons, you're seeing the actions of over 150 million years of geological and scientific nature. And here we are today at Torrey Pines, enjoying trails, these beautiful trees, relics of the past, where the sea meets the land, where our lagoons and shorelines continue to form under the same rules of science. We are blessed because this area is protected, so it is here for our children's children to enjoy. Have a great day and enjoy Torrey Pines Reserve.
Really cool, Jim. Everyone take a few moments to write some comments for Jim.
Be nice now.
Be nice or he'll hit you with that walking stick.